everybody, lovely to have you with me. It's Carol here at Oak House Journals, as you probably already know. I'm going to do my assignment for week 35 of Margarete Miller's 2025 Collage Challenge. So I've got my prompt pieces here. These are the prompts, so I'm just quickly going to go through these so that you know what I've chosen for the respective prompts. And as always, I'm going with all of the prompts including the bonus. That's what I usually try and do. Okay, so the first one is an old receipt or ledger fragment. So I've got a couple of pieces here from a vintage German ledger. I've definitely got enough to play with there. The second prompt is an animal with hooves. Well, I've got this cheeky little donkey postcard, so I'm going to be using that. A piece of wrapping paper or patterned paper. Well, I've got a piece of the Tim Holtz vellum paper here to use. I've also got a couple of pieces here out of a Halloween paper pad, and huge apologies if you're like me. I hate it when people start doing Christmas in July and that sort of thing, and the Christmas decorations come out in October. Equally so with regards to Halloween, but it is going to be a Halloween themed one today, as you can see. And the reason for that is because my donkey has got lovely orange eyes and the inside of his ears has a hint of orange, so I was kind of led towards the orangey colours, and also this little paper pad was accessible. All the others are packed away. The next prompt is an image of a candle or a lantern. Well, these look like carved pumpkins, but their true name is jack-o'-lanterns, so I'm claiming that these are lanterns to hit that prompt there. Something you leave behind. Now, I was thinking along the lines of something like baggage, whether it's physical baggage when you're on holiday, emotional or mental baggage such as your cares and woes. So I was kind of thinking along those lines, but then obviously we're moving house imminently, so I was thinking about the things that we might be taking, things we might be leaving here for the new owners, and then I was thinking along the lines of things that I would not be able to take and I would miss, and it fits in with the Halloween theme. Bats. We have pipistrelle bats here, which we sit in an evening and watch them dart around catching the insects, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and we're quite attached to them, really. Sadly, maybe, but we are attached to them. And particularly a few years back, there used to be one where I'd be working in the study with both windows open, and it used to come in through one window, swoop round inside the house, and then swoop out through the opposite window. And it used to do that most nights if we had those windows open. So we got quite attached to it. And I know how tiny they are because on one occasion it got caught up in the curtains in the study and it had to be extricated, and they are just adorable. They really are tiny, or this one certainly was. So yes, so what I'm going with is bats, and I thought I could maybe make use of these bats up here by fussy cutting them. So that's my plan. So let me put those papers off to one side. And the bonus prompt is italicized text. Well, I was struggling to find some, in honesty, and then I wondered about whether I could get the date on my Halloween themed piece or collage for today. So I dug these out, and actually I can't get the date. I haven't got a 1. I've got a 3 up there, but I haven't got a 31 or a numeral 1 to add on to one of these. But these are sticky labels, and I'm hoping that this will qualify as italicized text. So I'm going to use one of these if I can work it into my collage. It won't be date specific, but it will be a label with some italicized font or text on it. Okay, working background as always in front of me here. Let's see what I can create. I'm just going to bring my bits and bobs back in. Let's go with something like this. I don't really want to have the whole of the background with this on. It's got pink lines on it, and that's what's steering me away from it. So let's park that one and see what I can do with these pieces. I've automatically lifted this piece of paper in because I'm chopping that one up. And I've only got one of each, so that's that. Again, I've got those pink lines on that, so let's see what I can do with this. Maybe have that down there on the bottom. probably reduce that down quite a bit unless I pull it right down there. So something like that. Make use of this maybe to soften this a little bit, or I could always tuck it in behind, pull it down. Not liking that so much, and I'm not liking the text along the top there, so I probably would flip that over, try and use it this way. I could really do something like that so that it's straddling, and then trim off the bottom there so that I get something like that maybe. Cut this down a little bit. Okay, that's kind of an idea that I've got in mind. What I will go and do now before I do anything else is I'm going to cut out some pieces. So I'm going to cut out my bats. I hope they're not going to get lost on this background here, but we'll have to see. I'm going to cut out my jack-o'-lantern, and I'm going to see what I can do in terms of cutting this one out. I'll give it a go. Won't be perfect, but I'll give it a go. And then I've got more of an idea of where things will go on these 3 pieces. So I'll go away, do that now, and I'll be back in a moment. So these are the pieces cut out now. It was a bit of a challenge to cut out my donkey, but that's the best I could do. And I've left a little bit of the earth underneath his hooves there to kind of ground him, because I'm not sure how well he's going to be grounded on this text. So that's that. My jack-o'-lanterns have been done, and I managed to cut out a couple of those bats. So again, I'm just going to put those ahead of me, come back to this. I'm actually quite liking this. I like the half and half here, kind of the staggering up there and down here. Not liking the amount of stuff I've got going on down here. So I'm kind of thinking that I'll have this going across there, maybe rip it across here, and see how that goes. That's a bit too angled there, not liking that, but I can change it in a second. Bring that down a little bit. I'm going to take a bit off the bottom here. Take a bit more off here, I think. Maybe try and angle it down a little bit more. That little bit down there is what I'm not liking. I am going to just straighten that edge. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, let's look to getting this little chap in here. I'll try and put him on the text. Bring in the jack-o'-lanterns. Maybe have one here, another one lower down there. That kind of brings it down a little bit, like that. Maybe have them slightly wonky. Whoops-a-daisy. Like that little bit of detail there, without that spiky bit going up the top. Quite like that. Oh, I've got this bit, haven't I? Let's have a look at this one. Oh yes, that's nice. Just gives a bit more interest, I think, there. This feels a little bit big still. Doesn't matter where my bats go, I'm thinking. And this, I'm wondering up here for this. So I'm going to go with this one. I'm not taking it off its backing at the moment. I can't put it too low. And maybe make use of the bats on there, on that blank area. Use the bat to soften up that top corner. And because of that brown area, you definitely need something in there. I am going to reduce this down a little bit. So let's play with that. I'm going to put some glue behind these two first. So let's just, this is where it'll all go badly wrong because I'll take away too much of the ledger paper, but hey ho, let's just go with it today. It does give me that there, but these, I noticed last time, were actually quite good for hiding that bottom corner. Looks better with his feet nearer the top, I think. Yep, I'm liking that. So I'm going to put some glue under his feet. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this all down because I'm quite happy with how this is looking. I'm leaving this piece of paper here, love it. I'm even leaving the rough edge. Everything's glued down with the exception of my label and my bats, and because this had a perforated edge top and bottom, I've just smoothed that away with my guillotine, and it had a slightly wider piece of brown on either side, left and right. I've just peeled that away because I think that will give me a better scale. So I'm thinking having that just tucked in there. So I'm going to peel away the backing, and I'm going to put some glue on the back of this because I never trust how sticky adhesive labels can be. So if you put a bit of glue on the back, it is a belt and braces. But also the other thing is that you can move your labels around a little bit because you've got some wiggle room with the glue. As you can see, I've left some of the pieces slightly raised. So the stalks on my jack-o'-lanterns, his tail a little bit there, just the tip of that ear. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue behind this ear, not a lot, so that I can just kind of have some movement with it. And now my bats, and I thought I would have it there, like that. And yes, again, off my guidelines, but I don't mind. Or I could go with a smaller bat. Let's try that. Let's see how that one looks. And just angle that in there like that. And then this one, kind of have it here. You can probably see that I haven't glued that piece in straight at all. So I'm just going to add this little piece on the top and hopefully mask that a little bit. And it also softens that straight edge from that piece of pattern paper. And I was lucky not to have glued his ears down. Okay, everybody, that is my finished piece for this week. Let me just clear the decks. Lid on my glue, or pin in my glue. There we go. Bring in my prompts. Okay, an old receipt or ledger fragment. Well, I went with ledger. So this is my piece of German ledger paper, and a couple of pieces there as well. An animal with hooves. I went for this quirky little donkey there. A piece of wrapping or patterned paper. Well, I went with this Halloween patterned paper. An image of a candle or lantern. I've got two jack-o'-lanterns down there. Something you leave behind. My little pipistrelle bats will be left behind when we move house. There we go. And finally, italicized text. I've gone for that little piece down there. So there we go. That's my finished piece for week 35. Thank you as always, everybody, for joining me. I really love having your company. And as always, I'll do a few close-up photos at the end for you to have a better look at my efforts today. And have a great week, and hopefully see you next Monday for another Margarete Miller collage assignment. Until then, take care. Bye-bye now.